The Tick-Tock Goblin. Most of the clocks in Fairyland are dandelion clocks. They are very good timekeepers, but they have to be wound up each day without fail. The Tick-Tock Goblin winds them up. At the bottom of the stalk is a small hole, and into this he slips the key, turns it 3 times, and then goes on to the next dandelion clock. When a pixie wants to know the time, he does just what you do. Picks a clock, blows the fluff, and counts how many puffs before it is all gone away. Then he knows the hour. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now one day the Tick-Tock Goblin was very careless. He lost his dandelion clock key. Where could it have gone? He hunted here and he hunted there. Not a sign of the key. Where could it have gone? He asked the spiders and the beetles to hunt for it. He told the caterpillars to creep under the leaves and the grubs to look in the soil, but not one of them could find his lost key. Now the Tick-Tock Goblin should have gone at once to the Fairy Queen and told her how careless he had been, and she would have given him another key. But the Goblin knew he would be scolded, and he didn't want to be, so he said not a word about it and hoped he wouldn't be found out. What a muddle it caused in Fairyland. First the hey-ho pixie picked a dandelion clock and blew it to know if it was time for the bus. The clock hadn't been wound up and it said 8 o'clock instead of 3. The pixie thought he had 5 hours to wait for the bus, and then saw it disappearing round the corner. How angry he was. Then the twisty witch wanted to know if it was time to go to market, and she picked a flop. But when she puffed, the clock said 5 o'clock instead of 8, and she thought it was much too soon to go. So she waited and waited, and then when she did go, the market was over. What a rage she was in. I can't tell you all the muddles that were made. And then there came a very big muddle indeed. The Fairy Queen was to give a party at her palace at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything was just ready, when the Queen wondered what the time was. If it was not yet 4 o'clock, she would just have time to pick a few more flowers. So she ran out into the palace garden and picked a dandelion clock. She blew it. Put 1, puff, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dear, 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 if it's 5 o'clock, everyone's late. 6, 7, 8. What does this mean? 9, 10. Why, I should be in bed, not waiting for people to come for an afternoon party. 11, 12. Am I dreaming? Surely it isn't midnight. 13. Look at that now. 13 o'clock. This is strange. Something is very wrong. She ran in to tell the king. He was most alarmed. 13 o'clock? Why, that is witches' time. Ring the alarm bell. We must warn everyone that it is 13 o'clock. So the great alarm bell in the tower of the palace was tolled loudly. Dong, dong, dong. Then from far and near the fairy folk came clocking in alarm. Most of them were on their way to the party, and they ran helter-skelter to the palace when they heard the bell, wondering whatever was the matter. It is 13 o'clock, said the king solemnly, when everyone was there. Witches' time. We do not know what this means, but it is very alarming. But please, your majesty, I puffed the dandelion clock to tell the time on the way here, and it said 5 o'clock, not 13, cried an owl. And I puffed one, and it said 6 o'clock, said an owl. I thought I was late for the party. Fetch me a clock at once, said the king. This is most puzzling. So one was fetched, and the king blew it. At the first puff, all the fluff blew away at once. 1 o'clock, said the king in amazement. Are all the clocks mad today? Where is the Tick-Tock Goblin? Here, your majesty, said a trembling voice, and the little goblin bowed before the king. What is the meaning of this? The king said sternly. All the clocks tell different times instead of the right time, and one even said 13 o'clock, and made me ring the alarm bell, thinking it was witches' time, and that something dreadful was going to happen. Have you been winding up the clocks properly? No, your majesty, said Tick-Tock. Why not? Thundered the king. Because I lost the key, stammered the goblin, frightened. Lost the key, said the king. Well, why didn't you come and say so? Here you have upset everyone all over the kingdom and spoiled our party. all because you didn't come and confess that you had been careless. You shall go away from Fairyland, and I will let another goblin wind up my clocks, one who can be trusted." So the Tick-Tock goblin left Fairyland and wandered right away. He came to our land, and there he looked about for work to do. "If only I could wind up the dandelion clocks here," he sighed. "The children could always tell the time then, and they would be pleased with me. But I don't know where my key is." He found his key at last. It had fallen into the cuff of his tree. How pleased he was to find it. Now he winds up our dandelion clocks, and if we blow them they will tell us the time. But sometimes he loses his key again, and then, oh dear, the clocks tell us the wrong time. Maybe 13 o'clock, which is time. But don't be worried. You will know it is only because the Tick-Tock goblin has lost his key again, and the dandelion clocks haven't been wound up properly. Try one and see.